Hey everyone, this is Kevin from thechesswebsite.com, and today I'm going to be remaking a video. I've had a lot of requests to remake some of the more popular videos since some of my older videos had some poor sound quality. So that's what I'm going to do today. In the future I will be doing the same for some of the other videos. You can always tell from the title I'm going to put in there remake in parentheses. So if you do see that, it is a remake. I will be going over a few new things in the videos and talking about a few new things. So it still is worthwhile to check out, but if you see it, you don't need to post and say, you already made a video on this. I know, I was asked to, and that's what I'm going to do. So today we're going to be looking at open versus closed positions, and this is one of the most common things that the chess player needs to know, and it's probably one of the more important things. And it comes down to the pawn structure, and this is going to determine how you really look at your minor pieces and how you need to strategize a game plan around your minor pieces, how you're going to play that. So the first thing we need to look at is the pawn structure. And as you can look at the pawn structure here, this is an open game. An open game is defined by a lot of open room in the middle for pieces to move around. At the same time, the pawns can still move around a lot. There's no fixation in the pawns. They can still move freely. And this makes it an open game. Now in an open game, as you may imagine, bishops reign supreme. So you have two minor pieces. You have your knights and your bishops, and we're going to be looking at the bishops here. And the bishops are really going to be the pieces that do well in an open game. And that is because, let me go and highlight them here, the bishops want to have a lot of room to move around. They really work well if they have a lot of squares that they can attack and move to. And if it's an open game, they can do just that. And vice versa, if it's a closed game and there's a lot of pawns in the middle, and we'll go over that in just a second, if the bishops can't move around, they're kind of worthless. So a lot of times you'll hear people say, you know, I prefer bishops over knights, or I prefer knights over bishops. Well, it really depends on the situation of the game, because if it's a closed game, a bishop pair is not really that great of an advantage. But early on, if you have a bishop pair, a lot of people say that's an advantage because a lot of people can easily open up the game. It's later on when a game is closed that people will then prefer knights over bishops because bishops can't move around anymore. So in this case, this is an open game, as we saw. There's still a lot of room for the pawns to move, and the center is not locked up. So bishops are going to reign supreme, and bishops are going to be more valuable than knights, even though they're both 3 points. So go ahead and take a look. It's black's move here, and what would you say would be black's best move here? Thinking along the lines of what we just talked about, bishops being more important than knights. Go ahead and take a minute if you want to pause it. And the best move hopefully you came up with is knight to b4. And this is attacking this bishop on d3, which is a very good bishop. The light square bishop is one of the more important minor pieces for white. And at the same time, this bishop is very good because it's an open game. And vice versa, this knight is not as good. It's not saying it's bad, but it's not as good as a bishop because it is an open game. As you can see, there's nowhere for the bishop to move without this trade happening. He can't move to c4, he can be captured, and he can't move along this diagonal here, or else he's going to be captured as well. In this situation, you're going to be trading a knight for a bishop, so you're trading a 3-point piece for a 3-point piece, and a lot of people look at that and say, you know, who cares, they're the same. But if you really look at chess and study it, you'll see that in different situations, different pieces are better. And so it's these little things and these little subtleties in chess that will give you an advantage. Yes, you are trading a knight for a bishop, but later on in the game, this is going to be very good for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example. We'll take a look at a closed game and see how that's different from an open game and how we should play accordingly. Let's take a look at this example, and you can see here the pawn structure is a little bit different. It's a little more fixed. The pawns aren't going to be moving, and at the same time the center of the board is clogged up, it's locked up, and so this is going to be a closed position. And in this type of game, knights are going to fare much better than bishops. Yes, they are again both 3 points, but knights are going to fare much better because, as you can see, let's take a look at this bishop here on g7. He's not going anywhere. He can't. The center is blocked up. His range of motion is not very high. And at the same time, these knights can hop over pieces. So these knights can get all over the board, even though there's pawns everywhere. They can navigate anywhere on the board they want to because they can hop over pieces. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at this closed position. It's white's move, and what should be white's best move in this situation, knowing that knights are going to be play better than bishops. So go in a minute, take a minute if you want to pause it. And hopefully you came up with bishop to b5. As you can tell here, the bishop is pinning down this knight to the queen. There's nothing the knight can do here, or else he's going to lose his queen. So he's going to have to give up his knight. And once we do that, once we trade off this knight and our bishop, we're going to have a good minor piece, and black's going to have a bad minor piece. Our knight's going to be able to roam all over the board, and the bishop's basically going to be worthless. So yes, we do have the same amount of material, but we have much better pieces than black does. So this is going to be a better game for white. The advantage is not huge, but at the same time it is advantage. And anytime you can get an advantage in chess, it's usually good to take it. So this is one of the few things that you can take in your chess learning. Anytime in a middle game, you always want to take a look at if it's an open game or a closed game, and this is really going to determine how you look at your minor pieces. People always ask me, what's something I should look at in my game? You know, I understand the openings, but once I get to the middle game, well, there's a lot of different things as far as tactics and strategy, but one of the main things you want to know is it an open game or a closed game, and act accordingly. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.